How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to Rangers Rundown. Delayed video for this one. The game started last night at 10 o'clock my time, so I was able to catch the first period before I went to bed. I get up early for work, so I didn't watch the whole game last night, but I did finish watching the game today, so now I'm ready for this video. Rangers were in Vancouver last night. Unfortunate loss. Not the ending that we would have liked to see. Shesterkin was visibly upset with the result in overtime, but we'll get into that later in the video. Reeves is still on IR. Hopefully he comes back into the lineup soon. He is one of the players on the Rangers that's more physical, so he throws a lot of hits, and those are important in games. Fox signed a 7-year contract, so he will be a Ranger for the next 7 years, starting next season. So 7 years, $9.5 million per year, which is a lot of money for most people. That is a steal for a player like Fox, who won the Norris Trophy last year and seems to be continuing that strong play this year. And we get 7 more years of that. So if you're a Rangers fan, you should be excited about that contract because that is a steal. He's easily worth $13 million. Easily. Interesting stat they threw out before the game. Rangers are 6th in the NHL for giveaways. Before this game, the Rangers had 90 giveaways. That's about 10. That is 10 giveaways through their first 9 games. That is not how you make the playoffs, especially in a division like the Metro. The Rangers are 2nd in the Metro, but that is not going to last. I love this team. Some of these wins are because Shesterkin is playing out of his mind. The Rangers are not going to finish 2nd in this division. If they do, I will be ecstatic, but I'm not expecting it. I'm not holding my breath. 90 giveaways through your first 9 games is not how you make the playoffs in any division. Lineup, pretty much exactly the same as the previous game. Kreider, Zibanejad, Gaudreau, Panarin, Strome, Kakko, Lafreniere, Chytil, Blais, Hunt, McKegg, and Rooney. Lindgren, Fox, Miller, Trouba, Nemeth, Tenorti in the lineup for the 2nd game in a row. Lundqvist still out of the lineup as a healthy scratch. Shesterkin in net. So let's hop into this game. First period, about a minute and a half in, Chytil has a breakaway, wouldn't go in. 3:37, good first save for Shesterkin. Several icings for the Rangers through the first couple minutes of this period, and it's hard to gain any sort of momentum or pressure when the game is constantly starting and stopping and starting and stopping, and you have to do face-offs. Just missed passes, bad passes. That was kind of a theme through parts of this game, just not connecting on passes, taking too many icings. 5 minutes in, Lafreniere stick-handled around the crease, but he couldn't quite put it in. 8 minutes in, not a lot of sustained pressure by the Rangers, but their forecheck is looking pretty good. They're able to get the puck into the offensive zone, just not really able to set anything up. Vancouver did a tremendous job blocking shots tonight, getting into those passing lanes. 8:31, JT Miller would take a tripping penalty. There was a Miller on both sides of the ice tonight, so JT Miller takes a tripping penalty, and Gallant puts the 2nd power play unit on the ice first, which I thought was an interesting choice. Rounded out the power play with the 1st power play unit for the 2nd minute. Shesterkin had a long outlet pass during that power play, but Strome had a bad pass, and Strome is one of those players that's going to divide the fan base. We love him and we hate him at the same time. He didn't have a great game tonight. 12:38, Shesterkin had a great save on Myers. Earlier, he had a good save on Besser, so Shesterkin keeping up his fantastic play. Gaudreau and Rooney almost have a break, but good defense by Vancouver to stop that. 15:45, Trouba takes an interference penalty. Gaudreau and Fox have a shorthanded chance. Wouldn't amount to anything, but the Rangers' penalty kill is fantastic. And they're generating a lot of shorthanded chances. It seems like 1 or 2 a game, where the Rangers are in the offensive zone while they're shorthanded. They haven't scored a shorthanded goal yet this season, but you can tell one is coming. One's right around the corner. Shesterkin loses his stick towards the end of that penalty kill, but it would be fine. 19:22, Lafreniere would take a slashing penalty, so Vancouver would start the period with a minute and 23 seconds of power play time. End of the first period, Vancouver is up in shots 8-6, no score in the game. And that's when I went to bed. I watched the rest of the game today. So moving to the second period, Vancouver starts the period with the power play, so Rangers on the penalty kill to start the second period. It would be successful. Kreider and Zibanejad have a shorthanded chance, so there we go again. Rangers generating chances even when they're shorthanded. Gaudreau had a chance in the slot shortly after that, and then at 1:37, Myers would take an interference penalty, and about a minute into that that power play, Zibanejad would score his second goal of the season, the first power play goal from the Rangers that was not scored by Kreider. It was a beautiful pass from Panarin after a good defensive play from Fox. Zibanejad just had to direct it right into the net. One of the easier goals he'll score this season. 4:40, Hunt holding the stick penalty. Kreider and Trouba, shorthanded chance. Kreider's had shorthanded chances all season, and it was smart of Gallant to put Kreider on the penalty kill. You don't think of Kreider as a very defensive-minded forward, but putting him on the penalty kill is going to give him shorthanded chances. And he's a good enough goal scorer where a couple of them are going to go in over the course of this season. 6:56, Fox took a tripping penalty, so the Rangers are back on the penalty kill pretty much for 4 minutes straight. Vancouver moves the puck pretty well on the power play. Now, they're not one of the more dangerous teams in the league, but they do move the puck well. And, they're, I think, one of the younger teams in the league, but they're feeling it out. They're starting to get their legs together. At this point, the Rangers are already 4 for 4 on the penalty kill, and we're not even halfway through the game. Way too many penalties for the Rangers tonight. Shesterkin had a save on a net front deflection shortly after that. 11:07, another penalty by the Rangers. Lindgren took a cross-checking penalty. The refs, up until this point, they're calling a very tight game on the penalties. They're not giving these players much wiggle room. So some of these penalties looked a little soft, and I'm sure some audience members were a little angry. Some of the players and coaches were angry about some of these calls, so I can imagine what the viewers at home were doing. Shesterkin, couple of great saves on that, but Rangers would kill off another penalty. Then at 13:09, Vancouver would take a too-many-men penalty, so the Rangers back on the power play, and it would take 3 seconds for Panarin to score a power play goal. It was 3 seconds. Might have been 4, but I think it was 3 seconds into the power play. Rangers win the faceoff, pass to Panarin, back of the net. Fantastic shot, fantastic goal. Rangers are up 2-0. It was a slight deflection off of a Vancouver stick, but you take the goals as you get them. Fox, at this point, has 2 assists in the game, and that second assist was Fox's 100th NHL point. So congratulations to him. Fantastic start to what I can imagine is a Hall of Fame career from this kid. Shesterkin stops a wraparound shortly after that. Vancouver had a 2-on-1, but Elias Pettersson shot it off the crossbar. It was very close. Vancouver putting on the pressure towards the end of the period, but the Rangers would go to the second intermission up 2-0. Obviously, it wouldn't stay that way, but Rangers go into the third up by 2 goals. Shots 14-8 that period in favor of Vancouver. So Vancouver still out shooting the Rangers. This has been the Rangers' MO for most of the season. They get outshot, but they win the game, mostly due to Shesterkin. And I'm going to put out a video tomorrow analyzing the first 10 games of the season for the Rangers. Some things they're doing really well, and some things they are absolutely horrendous at. And we'll talk about that in tomorrow's video, so be on the lookout for that. We go into the third period. First minute, Strome has a chance, but at 1 minute and 29 seconds into the third period, JT Miller would score his first goal of the game. So Vancouver with a little bit of life in the middle of that, or the beginning of that third period. Shesterkin with another long stretch pass beginning of this period. He loves starting that offense. He loves just getting the puck and flinging it to the other blue line. He loves being up in that offense, which is great. Vancouver's playing a lot stronger. You can tell they were playing on their toes the first part of this third period, really pushing the Rangers. And then at 5:19, Podkolzin would score a goal, tying the game 2-2. between the teams. Rangers just had trouble getting the puck out of the zone, really struggling. Vancouver moving the puck well, and when they lose the puck in their offensive zone, they get it back. And that's just something the Rangers need to be better at. He picked the top corner. It was a nice goal. It was a very nice goal from Podkolzin. Rangers had a strong shift by the fourth line shortly after that goal. Fourth line, they've had strong shifts almost every single game, and eventually that's going to break through, because if the Rangers are going to make the playoffs, they need 4 lines that can score. In the division they're in, that's what needs to happen. So fourth line still playing well. 10:28, Fox took his second penalty of the game. Very unlike Fox to take 2 penalties in the same game, a holding the stick penalty. But the Rangers killed it off 6 for 6 in the game for the penalty kill. They have one of the best penalty kills in the league. So that's not something I'm worried about. When the Rangers take a penalty, I'm not really worried about it. That might change soon, but for now, Shesterkin makes an incredible diving save to keep it 2-2, plus 2 other great saves. Shesterkin was the best penalty killer on the team that penalty kill. 14:55, Höglander would take a holding penalty, and then at 16:20, Ekman Larsson would take a hooking penalty. So 2 chances for the Rangers on the power play towards the end of this third period to put it away, and they could not do it. 36 seconds of 5-on-3, because those 2 penalties did overlap by a little bit. So the Rangers, 5-on-3 for 36 seconds. And if you're a Rangers fan, if your team is in a 5-on-3, you have to think there's a good chance they're going to score. But the Rangers could not put it in the back of the net. Vancouver is blocking shots. Demko lost his glove, his blocker glove. Vancouver players are in the net covering for Demko when he's down on the ice. Rangers are throwing everything they can at the Vancouver net, and nothing is going in. It was just constant scramble and shot for probably 20 straight seconds. And as a Rangers fan, you have to think, okay, one of these shots has to go into the net. It is just chaos, and nothing went in. After those power plays were over, Rangers still pushing to try and win in the third period. Vancouver gets a little bit of pressure in the final minute, but this game goes to overtime. So the Rangers at least come out of this game with a point. Overtime, Rangers win the faceoff, so they start with possession, which is so important in 3-on-3 overtime. If you win that opening faceoff, you could control play conceivably for the entire overtime, because players play a lot more with a lot more hesitancy, if that's a word, because you don't want to lose possession in overtime. 2-on-1 chances are so easy in 3-on-3 that you want to hold possession. The Rangers did. Vancouver had an early shot. There was a missed connection between Panarin and Strome. Strome not having a great game. JT Miller had a breakaway, but Shesterkin makes the save. And then Miller comes around the other side of the net while Shesterkin is down and puts it in. Shesterkin was very visibly upset by that goal. Goudreau was there trying to help out. Maybe he kind of got in the way of Shesterkin. There was no way Shesterkin was going to save that goal, so I'm sure they're over it by now. But JT Miller would score his second goal of the game at 2:22 of overtime to give the win to the Vancouver Canucks. Their first home win of the season for Vancouver, and the Rangers' road win streak ends at 4. Stats for the game: shots 25-36 in favor of Vancouver. So again, the Rangers outshot for another game this season. Rangers won 47.7% of the faceoffs. Power play went 2 for 5, so not bad. Hits 24 apiece for both teams. Blocks 18-12 in favor of the Rangers. The trivia question today, or last night: who is the only player to play in an all-star game for both the Rangers and Vancouver? I didn't know the answer, but I'm sure some of you do. It was Mark Messier. He played in 5 all-star games for the Rangers and 2 all-star games for Vancouver. Like I said, there will be a 10-game recap video coming out tomorrow, and then the Rangers are in Edmonton Friday evening. Game starts at 9:30 my time. I will watch the whole game that night, and then the Rangers, in back-to-back games, are in Calgary Saturday for a rematch of the earlier shellacking that the Rangers took from them. So, if you like this video and you'd like to see more videos like it, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next rundown.